United States of America is the Declaration of Independence. It is not the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution was the follow-up document. In the Declaration of Independence, the one that gives this country its legitimacy, says that we hold certain things self-evident. That means it's obvious. And those are that we all have unalienable rights. Those rights mean we're born with them from the Creator. They come from nature or nature's God. Okay? Not from the divine right of kings, not from any government. Now, once we were formed as a nation under that document, we the people got together and we decided with our states that we should possibly form a more perfect union. Maybe we'll establish justice. How about ensure domestic tranquility? Provide for our common defense. So we the people got together and we ordained a constitution where we put down on paper a document that said we're going to create a federal government to go so far and no farther than that, with express limits.
Yeah.
Now, that government, over the years, has destroyed the Constitution to such a degree that they don't even check on it. Nancy Pelosi laughs when you ask her where your authority the Constitution is. Bill after bill after bill, and the Constitution has no authority in law whatsoever. We, the people, did not authorize the government to do it. There was a book written by Idaho Representative Phil Hart called Constitutional Income. Do you have any? He went back in the archives, the federal archives, and read for months document after document of congressional records of the creation of the income tax in the 16th Amendment. And nowhere in any of those hundreds and hundreds of hours of debate on the House floor did they say that they were going to tax the labor of the citizens of the United States. It was not even remotely within the income tax. And as the years went on, nobody was paying an income tax on their labor because the Supreme Court long held a person's labor is his most sacred and inviolable right. It is an unalienable right. You cannot tax an unalienable right. There is absolutely 100% no authority in law for the application of the income tax to the labor of the citizens of the 50 states. Zero. None. Period. But our federal government operates under the power of the gun, the barrel of a gun. We could go through violation after violation. In the federal Constitution, the document that we made to create certain laws we would allow the government to make, we specifically told the federal government that you have the right to coin money and regulate the value thereof. Then we further added that no state shall use anything other than gold and silver coin in legal tender and payment of debt. Now the Supreme Court has ruled in a case called Carter, a long time ago, that said the Constitution is written in such plain language, such simple terms, that it is impossible to misconstrue. So, the creation of a Federal Reserve and paper money and fiat currency, there is nowhere in the Constitution where we the people authorized our federal government to make a central bank that controls all our wealth of the country, our entire economy. We never gave that power to federal government. And we certainly never gave them power to abolish gold and silver coin and then issue a worthless paper that has lost 97% of its purchasing power since the Federal Reserve was enacted. Now, I'd love to use hand gestures, but my hands are full. There are two great powers of any sovereignty. That's the power of the purse and the power of the sword. We, the people, as sovereign people who created the country, ordained the Constitution, we knew that the two great powers of sovereignty is the power of the purse and the power of the sword. We wrote those powers in.
Hello. Just to repeat, the two great powers of any sovereignty is the power of the purse and the power of the sword. We the people knew that. We wrote that into the Constitution. We put it into money clauses. We knew that the power of the purse was gold and silver coin. You didn't need Wall Street. You don't need bankers. You don't need interest in checking accounts and chasing interest and deflation of the money. Because you could take the gold and silver coin, you could keep it without the banks. Now, why does that matter? Well, if you made $1,000 today, and you could buy 500 loaves of bread with it. If you took that, 1,000 Federal Reserve notes, if you said, well, I want to save that for my retirement, you could take those 1,000 Federal Reserve notes, you would put it in your mattress or your shoe or whatever, and you'd bring it out 30 years later, and when you're retired, you'd say, this is great, my labor, I really toiled over this, I want to go get my 500 loaves of bread, and you find out it'll only buy 200 loaves of bread. Somebody stole your wealth. Somebody, without taking $1 out of your money, removed the purchasing power, removed your wealth. That was the bankers in conjunction with a fraudulent government. They transferred your wealth over to them. Now, what if we were on constitutional money? Then a 1-ounce gold coin in the Roman Empire would get you a tunic, a pair of sandals, and a handcrafted belt. In 1950, a 1-ounce gold coin would get you a beautiful suit, a pair of shoes, and a handcrafted belt. Today, a 1-ounce gold coin would get this handsome gentleman here that beautiful suit, pair of shoes, and a handcrafted belt. Real money has not lost its purchasing power in the last 2,000 years. We must regain the power of the purse if we are to move forward. All the states are working on this. They are trying, people are trying at a grassroots level to get gold and silver monetary type of clauses or statutes passed in the state where we could now have a competing currency against this worthless paper. Now let's talk about the second great power of any sovereignty, the power of the sword. The Founding Fathers knew through all of history it's the same oppression. So they put in only one place in the entire Constitution do they say something is necessary. They don't use the word necessary anywhere else. They said a well-regulated militia is necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
Now, very simply, they're telling all of us, as we should know, that without the power of the sword, without a well-regulated militia, we have no security of any free state. And when I say militia, I'm talking constitutional militia, not guys with war paint running in the woods doing a private thing, not a militia that overthrows the government, not all the propaganda that the corporate news passes out. I mean constitutional militia. It says it. Read the Illinois Constitution. It says right in there who the militia is every able-bodied man. Everybody. Whether you like it or not. And women were emancipated. And women. So if you don't like it, why is it in our Constitution? So, there's a group called Committees of Safety. They have regular conference calls every Wednesday. Google search it. They are talking about regaining the power of the purse and the power of the sword. Dr. Edwin Vieira, 4 Harvard degrees, one of the foremost authorities in the country, is working on this. We must regain the power of the purse and the power of the sword. Then, and only then, can we stand here and declare ourselves free. So I leave you by saying I could not be more proud to stand with each of you here, shoulder to shoulder, in defiance of tyranny. God bless the United States of America.
Okay. Sorry about that. We had some Japanese.